and we're going to move on to the next team, which is the Phoenix Suns. We'll be talking about, obviously, what if they get the number 1 overall pick? What if they get, top 3 pick? What if they get the, 4th pick outside of Wiseman, Ball, and Edwards? We'll be talking about where they would be picking or who they'd be picking at 10 as well. This is a team that has a 13.9% chance to be in the top 4 and a 3% chance to be to be the number 1 overall team, to have the number 1 overall pick. This is a team that is led by Devin Booker. This is a team that had a really good start to the season and then ended up flaming out once Ricky Rubio got hurt. Dave, when you look at this team, is there a missing piece or a missing puzzle piece to this team that, if they draft X player, they could truly unlock this team and be looking forward? Also, I don't want to leave out DeAndre Ayton, former number 1 overall pick from 2018.
No, I think that
was another reason too why they fell off. I mean, even though Aaron Baines was red hot, Baines ended up getting injured, so then they didn't have a big, and Ayton was suspended for the first 25 games.
They got bit real bad by that
after the first one.
No, I mean, like, if you're looking at traditionally, I'd say they are just looking for best talent available on the board at the time. I don't think they can go wrong. I think they've got, a handful of super young kids at point guard sitting on the bench trying to learn under Ricky Rubio, in Jalen, in Ellie, and, the statesman of Ty Jerome, the old young kid on the team.
You're missing Javon Carter as well.
And Javon Carter.
35-year-old Javon Carter.
Yeah, seriously, he looks so no. So like they've got a lot of potential at that guard position, but I don't like none of them has really stood out enough to prove it. Like Ellie's had a couple of hot streaks. Jalen hasn't gotten minutes really to prove anything yet. He was
super young.
Yeah, he was that super athletic kid out of high school, and
5th-year senior.
Yep, it was a wait and see game. So I love the gambles on both of those picks. I think I gave them credit for taking that shot. But it's a wait and see game on them still. So I'm still saying BPA, if there's a point guard on the board who they love and absolutely fall in love with, like, if Halliburton fell, like Ricky's situation kind of went down, I would not even flinch. And I would just, yep, it's Halliburton right off the top of my head. But outside of that, they could go anywhere here. They could use depth anywhere. And I know it sounds ridiculous because they already have Oubre, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges. Like, you think that's your wing core of the future, with Devin Booker at the 2, you got those 3 guys kind of rotating around. But I wouldn't be disappointed if they took, like a Sadiq Bey here. Wouldn't even be shocked.
Ricky, before you answer this question, just let's talk about the players that are going to be on the team next year for sure, that are already under contract. Booker's going to be around for 29.4. Ricky Rubio going to be around for 17. Kelly Oubre for 14.3. He was dealing with injuries later on in the season as well, but he was playing phenomenally. DeAndre Ayton for 10 mil. Frank Kaminsky for 5. Mikal Bridges for 4.3. Cam Johnson for 4.2. Ty Jerome for 2.3. Check Diallo's got a team option for 1.8. Eli Okubo, a non-fully guaranteed 1.6, and then Jalen Leck, who we were talking about a little bit earlier, for 1.5. Are you in the same boat of Dave, just being in BPA, whether it be at 10, whether it be at 1, whether it be at 3, whether it be at 4, you just got to get the most talent possible?
No, and the reason why is it's like, yes, I kind of agree with is this the wing core of the future? But like this draft, if there's going to be anything we look back at, there are specific positions that this draft is good at, with all the stuff we rag on about this, where if I'm in the top 3, I'm hoping LaMelo Ball's to me. That's the guy I want. I don't need James Wiseman. I already have DeAndre Ayton. I'm not really keen on Edwards being a fit with the Suns. I think it's Melo or bust if you're in the top 3. But if they're sitting where they're at 10, there are 3 guys I'm targeting. That's either Cole Anthony, Tyrese Maxey, or RJ Hampton. I need somebody who can either be a shooting guard behind Devin Booker or somebody who can fit the role of a backup point guard. And I feel like RJ Hampton and obviously Cole Anthony, because he is a point guard, can fit that. But even if those 2 are gone and I get bounced back a little bit because of the lottery, I think Tyrese Maxey would be a good fit for this team as well, because you just need someone at that 1 or that 2 who can play next to either Ricky Rubio or Devin Booker. Or if you get Cole Anthony, someone who can lead the second unit when Ricky Rubio has to hit the bench.
All right, with that in mind, let's start off at the top. If they get the number 1 overall pick, that 3% chance hits off. You got Wiseman, you got Edwards, you got Ball on the board. Who you taking? Ricky, who you got?
LaMelo all day. And it's like Dave with Halliburton. I'm not even second guessing it. It's LaMelo Ball.
And why?
Yeah, think about that incredible defensive backcourt of LaMelo Ball and Devin Booker.
I know
it's giving up 70 a night right
so
there.
to me, it's not necessarily.
What?
He's not playing next to Booker because you have Ricky Rubio. He's the backup. It's who
You're
can
gonna take your number 1 overall pick and put him on the bench?
I mean, where are you going to put
Are you
him?
having a stroke?
Where are you going to put him?
Me?
Who are you talking to?
He's talking to me.
Can you not hear Ricky anymore?
Is Dave talking? I can't hear
Yes,
Dave.
Dave's talking. He can't hear you. Dave's responding to me. He's saying that LaMelo doesn't play good enough defense to put him next to Booker. But like, I look at this team and it's like you have Ricky Rubio and Devin Booker. You're gonna sit one of them to play LaMelo Ball. You're gonna play LaMelo Ball at the 3. No, but I need a backup point guard. And even though Ricky Rubio might not be the future, I still am taking the best player in my mind that would help this team. And that's LaMelo Ball, someone who can run a second unit when Rubio has to, because he can't play 40 minutes a game every single
I get
game.
you. I get you, man. I'm just saying, like, it does add in some questions there as far as what that team's backcourt would look like. I'm not saying
you could put McHale at the 2 next to LaMelo. That's good defense. You got Cam Johnson out there at the 3. That could be the beginnings of a second unit for the Suns.
Yeah, no, I get you. I do agree. Like, none of those. Like, if I'm 1, 2, or 3, Wiseman is the one who just kind of doesn't fit. I get that he's 7'1" and thinks he could be a 4 at the NBA. And we talked about DeAndre Ayton even being a 4, having that mentality of being similar to Cat with his skill set.
I forget. Does he not want to play the 4? Does he want to play the 4?
If they're a modern day big man, they don't want to play the 5.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't want to bang down low, even though
pretty much
Ayton is so good in the post, which is a shame. So I think it's just that question of like, would you give that a thought? I would not, but having 2 7'1" guys out there would be interesting. That's all I'm saying.
I do think it's interesting. That's the thing that with this team, I don't know if they have any glaring holes. You have Ricky Rubio, who's a fantastic, point guard. You have Devin Booker, who's a fantastic 2 scoring guard. You have Mikal Bridges. You have Cam Johnson. Those guys are capable wing players. You could obviously upgrade, and I'm not saying that you can't. It's really the 4 that is the weakness. I don't know if it's weak enough where, obviously there isn't really a player that jumps out that, they could fit. Obi Toppin does, but I'm not taking Obi Toppin number 1 overall.
No.
I think that if I have the number 1 overall pick, I likely have to go with just best player available, and that is Wiseman. And you might have a little bit of difficulties figuring out how Wiseman and Ayton will play next to each other. And, it's not best case scenario. It's not like you're getting Zion, because Zion would have been perfect with this team. Could just play him at the 4. But I do think that, Ayton and Wiseman together, I think one of the bigger issues with Ayton's a pretty good perimeter defender. He hasn't, maybe I'm basing this too much off his rookie year, but he wasn't that great of a rim protector his rookie year. Wiseman can bring that rim protection. And I think defensively, we saw Ayton, I think it was rookie year, go up against Giannis, and he did pretty damn well. So I think that you have a pretty good defensive combo down low at the 4 and the 5 with Ayton and Wiseman.
This past year, Ayton averaged 1.7 blocks a game.
Yeah,
he was a SWAT machine.
He got better, but that was an issue with him in his rookie year. And I would wonder if it's stretched out to, if he didn't miss the 25 games because of the diuretic suspension, what would he look like as a stretched out over, 70 games or whatever. But I do think that one thing that we haven't really seen from Ayton, and we did see it in college, was him stretching the floor. He was shooting threes at Arizona. Yeah. He was, and he's a good free throw shooter. He's shooting 76%. I think that it is possible that he could stretch the floor out. And if you have a 6'11" guy who could stretch the floor out like that, and then Wiseman at 7'1" who could dominate in the post, like I think that you could have a dangerous 1-2 combo that we really haven't seen, because both of those guys can put up 20 points a game.
It would be interesting. I'll give you that. But it's just
I don't think there's a
feel
perfect
like
fit. I think out,
could
out
this
of
be a
the
team that
three,
trades
Edwards,
out? Could this be the
number
team
one
that makes sense to trade out of the number 1 overall pick?
I don't know which team is salivating to get the number 1 overall pick.
This year,
maybe
especially.
the Knicks.
The Knicks,
Knicks to get LaMelo.
The Warriors.
I mean,
Do they need the number 1 pick?
I mean,
Because they're fine with Toppin or Onyeka in my mind.
yeah, rumors came out that hey, they're not really high on James Wiseman.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It'd be interesting. LaMelo seems extremely unlikely to them. So who knows?
I just don't know if there's going to be a team that's
I could see them
like I'm going to give up a
taking
future
Denny at
pick to
1.
get the number 1. What's
Could
that?
you? I guess could you see them taking Denny at 1?
but like the
It
thing
seems
is,
like a reach, but at the same time, like he's someone who could come in and play on their team.
Mhm.
He fits a needed role at the 4, kind of that 3-4 bigger body ball handler on the outside. I get that it's already a little crowded for minutes, but like it seems like potentially the best option. I do think the
I don't know if
bench start is interesting. But
I also forgot about Kelly Oubre. Sorry about that. He's their 3. I mentioned Bridges and Cam Johnson and left Kelly Oubre out there.
That would mean what the next 3, like the last 3 years, it would have been Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Denny Abdia.
Yeah,
are they back to back? Like they're just what?
Well, that's the thing. They keep taking like
Game of Thrones. So many
shots.
wings.
They keep taking pot shots at point guards late in the draft, and none of them have they were all developmental projects. So you either keep trusting in the fact that you're going to develop your point guard of the future, or you take LaMelo Ball here and you just roll forward with it.
Also, Ricky in 2018 they took Ayton, so it hasn't been back to back.
Then it was Mikal was in 17 then.
Well, he was the second. Remember they had
Mikal was 2018. Mikal was they traded him for Zaire.
Yeah, they
took Zaire at 16 and
so
then traded him.
They did take the wing. They would be wing in
all the
in
drafts.
each one.
So they took. So in 2015 they took Booker. 2016 they took Dragan Bender. And then they took Papagiannis, but then traded Papagiannis and Scalabrine for Chris. Then they took Josh Jackson at 4 in 2017. Then they took Ayton, and then they had the 16th pick, and then they traded that for Mikal Bridges. And then last year they took Jarrett Culver, but traded him to Minnesota and ended up picking up help me out here.
Cam Johnson.
But so that's their draft history.
So like I just simmed Tankathon to see what Norder could be like if the Suns get number 1.
Yeah.
And of course this isn't going to be the for sure order if they do get it, but in this case the teams that I feel like would need to trade up for 1 might have to give up too much to get there. This has the Suns at 1, Warriors at 2, Wolves at 3, the Wizards jumped up to 4, and then it's Cavs, Hawks, Pistons, Knicks, Bulls, Hornets. Like Bulls, Knicks, I could see the Pistons maybe jumping up for LaMelo, but it's like how much would you have to give up to move up from 7, 8, or 9 all the way to number 1?
Well, and now that we're talking too, it's just like how much feasibly do they think they can go down even to secure that they still get Avdia? Or do they pick somebody? Do they just pick LaMelo Ball and then just wait for a team to pick Avdia and then try to flip them that way? Yeah. I mean, that could be the way that they go and just try to pick up whatever they can from that team. I mean, I don't hate the Avdia pick for them. It's just number knows? 1, I think, is way too high.
Maybe the Wolves at 3 then jump up from 3 to 1 and they take Avdia. I don't know if I'd be worried about the Suns or the Warriors taking Denny Avdia, but like
I think the Warriors are a chance.
I don't think the
Suns could too.
Like could the Suns pull a Danny Ainge and basically have a guy in mind, not want to take him number 1, trade with a team that's at 3, and then, hey, we got our guy at 3 and got draft capital.
But just the one thing, though, with that, I mean, the Sixers at that point, they were still, poised to, they thought that pick was then going to just push them further into the playoffs.
I mean, if you look at a team like the Timberwolves, you've got D'Angelo Russell, you can potentially resign Josh Okogie, you've got Cat, you've got Culver, you've got a lot of young, talented pieces on a team that looks like they can kind of make a jump next year, maybe.
Hell, if I'm even,
it's similar. Honestly, it's similar.
The more I think about it, if the Wizards are at 4, I think about jumping up either for Wiseman or Ball. Like, if you think that one of them is going to make the Wizards that much better of a playoff team or a team to make the playoffs, if the Wizards are at 4 in this situation, I would definitely work a pick around 4 for 1 and jump up to take either Wiseman or Ball.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, for me, like when I look at the top of the draft for the Suns, I mean, I am kind of looking at that 4 or the point guard. It's one or the other. So this is the point guard laden draft. You know, I think in my mind, like the clear guy to take, the no risk involved one is Halliburton. Like, he fits perfectly next to Devin Booker. He could kind of pick up a little bit from Ricky Rubio as far as being floor general, but he's already a very good and a willing passer. He's got a great wingspan, great defender out there. So complementary piece again, which is what you need. You need to surround Devin Booker with those defensive guys like they've been doing on the wing with Oubre and Bridges. Like, that's the plan. So like, I could see them, you know, if they're in that 5 to 7 range, 5 to 8 range, going after Halliburton there. I don't know Killian Hayes, if they would take a chance on him. I think he's a good scoring guard. I don't know if they need him though. I absolutely can't see them going after someone like Cole Anthony though at their current position. Like, I've seen Cole mocked there, and I'm like, really? Would you do that to yourself? Like,
I would.
As far as point guards go on that team, like, I guess what would your big board point guard pairing be for the Suns?
What's the question again? Point guard.
Point guard,
big board point guard for the Suns.
So if you're looking just at point guard, who would be your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, because I mean that kind of covers the range for their draft. Like, I don't even know if like LaMelo's my number 1. I'll be honest.
I would say LaMelo's my number 1.
Yeah, I'd still put LaMelo as my number 1. Because he's still the best player.
I know he is. I know. Yep.
I don't know if Hayes is my number 2.
No, Cole Anthony is my number 2.
How did?
Really? So you would lean into the Cole Anthony on this team?
Yeah, I would. I feel like Cole Anthony would bring something to this team that Devin Booker has been wanting. Somebody who is going to give their all and actually like give a damn in a way. I'm not saying that the rest of the Suns don't, but like Devin Booker's big thing has been veterans, like bring in guys like that are going to help us win. And I think Cole Anthony will be a guy that his drive and how he approaches the game, you can't teach that. You can teach everything else, like everything we're saying that is in deficiency with his game, you can teach him that. And he's got Ricky Rubio there. Yeah, well, yeah, you can't teach height. But like we've seen smaller point guard. I mean, for a point guard, 6'3" isn't that small.
That's his like college measurement, so he's probably like 1 3/4. But yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's not Trey Jones. He's not fucking 6'2" and might even be 6 foot if he's shorter than that. But I think he
plays with a passion.
His best fit would be the Suns, and the only other and this is one where I kind of go about, but my 3 is a hometown pick. If there's any team that would really fit for Nico Mannion, it's Phoenix. High school in Phoenix, college in Phoenix, pro team in Phoenix. Like, he could be the Derrick Rose without being the MVP. I don't think he'll be an MVP in the league. I'm not going that crazy. But, like, I would put him at 3 for the hometown pick.
I don't know if I like Nico Mannion here. I really want somebody that can be an off-ball scorer. I think RJ Hampton's a fairly interesting name here. I think that
haven't had that come up.
Well, because is he a 2 or are you counting him as a 2 or a 1?
He's a combo, so he's both.
Yeah, but if you had to put him in the starting lineup or in a lineup, is he?
Well, he wouldn't be a starting lineup, but it depends. Like, is Devin Booker on the floor and Rubio's off, or is Rubio on and Booker's off? I mean, it doesn't matter. Who cares? I mean, you just play him where he fits.
It's like Kobe White. He's a combo guard, but I don't consider him a point guard.
It's different though, because he's a combo guard in the sense that he is more of a 2. He's less of a. I mean, Kobe White's undersized. RJ Hampton's 6'5".
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
Kobe
always
White's
think
not
of, yeah, no,
undersized.
Kobe White is taller than I always think he is. I always think he's like 6'1". Kobe White plays like he's smaller. He's faster.
Mhm.
He
He's
is
just got
thinner
that
as well.
incredibly fast first step.
And he's also fairly thin, where RJ is a little bit more filled out, and I see him more as a 2 frame-wise, where Kobe White frame-wise is more of a 1. I think also Hampton just feels more natural off ball. And Kobe White is that great first step, and he's great driving. So he feels more of a 1 in that way, but he's just not that good of a passer. He's not that good of a facilitator, where Hampton's not. That isn't his first game. I think Hampton could be interesting off ball with Rubio on the floor. I think he could be interesting trying to set up, Ayton or Booker or Oubre as well. And I think even then, when Oubre and Booker have the ball, he, again, just goes back to playing off ball. So I think he's an interesting fit here just because I do see off ball potential in RJ Hampton more than any of these other guards that are available. I see Mannion too much of a guy that needs the ball in his hands like a Kobe White. Same with Cole Anthony. So I think that RJ Hampton's probably my third. I would still probably put Ball and Hayes 1-2 just because of the fact that these guys are great with potential. I'd then put Halliburton at 4 just because he is a very good passer, and probably fits more along the lines of Ricky Rubio, but he is a great defender, and I think that can't be overlooked. So I'd probably have those be my top 4. I don't really know if I could throw a 5th in there because I don't know if I like any other the other fits. Maybe Theo Maledon, but at that point, I think that you're not taking.
That's another project, and you got 2 of those on the bench already.
You're also not taking if you're at 10, you're not taking a guard that is that low down. Like
right.
you're still going to have the ability to take those guys. So
I agree.
I think honestly, they're the position they probably need the most is a 3 or a 4. Like I would say those would be the guys I'm looking at. So if Okoro's available, I think that'd be an interesting fit. He brings more of a slashing and defensive look, kind of what they had in Josh Jackson. Better body though, and then I think that Sadiq Bey is probably in this talk, and I think Devin Vassal's also in this talk as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to separate that. I feel like the 4 is their weakness, just because you're either playing Cam Johnson out there, who I get his job is to shoot threes, and
they have Dario, but it's not sure that they're going to re-sign him.
Mm-hmm. And beyond that, like they really don't have any options. So I look at that, and I would consider if they get bumped back because say like ridiculous odds, and hey, we want to feed the fucking Pelicans another top pick because we're the NBA, and we really want Zion and them to succeed. So say they jump them or something, and they get pushed down. Like I could see like a Sadiq Bey going there. I would. The only guy I wouldn't consider like on the wing is like Jaden McDaniels on this team. Like no. That's not what this team needs.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I like the idea of them going with either a 4 or the point guard of the future, and they just understand that hey, maybe Eli Okubo and Jalen are going to be backup guards or 2 guards or whatever they're going to be. It doesn't matter. Like this is a team that I feel like Devin Booker has been ready. He's on his major contract. Like he's just got to he got paid. He's got to win games now, and it's like. You've got Booker, you've got Ayton. You need to turn this into something productive. And I feel like, the West is so competitive at the top that it's tough, and it's only going to get tougher.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. And I think that you're absolutely right about that. And I think that with the Suns, talent is the thing that you got to key in the most on. So wherever they may be, top 3, number 1, and then or 10 where they're at, talent is going to be the most important thing because again they still are fairly filled out at every position. 4 is probably the biggest weakness though. You're right though, but even then I still think that they can add that in the second round. I
don't have a second rounder this year.
I mean, we could always buy picks.
But
you could always buy picks. I mean, if they were at 40 though, like if they could take a Reggie Perry, like if they had their pick from the Grizzlies at 40, like Reggie Perry would be a great pick for them. In that range, I think
maybe won't.
Yeah, I think that your guy Nick Richards could be interesting. Jordan Mora could be interesting there. If Precious fell for some reason, he could be decent there. I think we could also toss in my guy Pat Williams just for the hell of it. at 10 if they really like a project. I don't know if they want another one, but
That would be
if they
interesting.
really,
Yeah.
if they really do like a project, great defender, can shoot from the outside. I think he could probably be in the mix there at 10 if they want to take that route with him. Any final thoughts on the Suns though with these picks? Anything we missed out?
No, I think we covered it.
No, for me, it would just be if they're stuck where they're at and don't move up, it's point guard or that combo guard like RJ or a Tyrese Maxey. That's what I'm looking for at 10.
All right.